Up next, our second overall pick, our second overall in the beer relay, Tyler Larson. Alrighty, he starts off Pacheco, keeper, eighth round. Very good. Very good. Pacheco goes in the second or third in redraft, so very good to keep him in the eighth. What does he do from there? He keeps a running back, so he starts wide receiver, wide receiver. Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel, nice. Kelsey, James Conner, Joe Burrow, Raheem Mostert, Chris Godwin, keeper Pacheco, Zeke, Lockett, Mason, Myers, Downs, Musgrave. Okay. Who is his best pick? Obviously Pacheco. I already said great keeper. I like Debo. I like Debo end of the second. I think that was pretty solid. And nothing else really stuck out to me. Godwin in the seventh could be good. Godwin in the seventh could always turn out pretty solid. He's a good guy to have as your wide receiver three, I feel like. That's about where he finished last year. Worst picks for this team. Jamar Chase at 2 overall is stupid. I know it's weird to make fun of his first round pick, but damn, Jamar Chase over Jefferson and Bijan is crazy. I get people like him, but he's just got a little uncertainty with the contract. He's got a little uncertainty with Burrow's hand. I'm a Bengals hater. I don't think they're very good. They do have an easy schedule this year. He's been a stud, but I just think there's a couple of things going on where I would have went somewhere else. And then the worst pick is James Conner. James Conner is going to have competition in this backfield. The idea that he's just going to repeat what he did last year and be, I mean, he got like all the work last year. They sucked. They had no quarterback because Kyler was hurt. He had nobody vulturing his rushing touchdowns, and he was like barely an RB2. I guess he missed a few games. He had a little hot streak. He's been good, but he's old. I mean, look at all these carries. I feel like he's gonna fall off, and I feel like to roll in with him as your RB2, and then your RB3 is Mostert. It's gross. It's very gross. Strengths of this team are wide receiver. Definitely wide receiver for Ty. Um, you know, he spent his first pick on Jamar, second pick on Debo. Godwin's pretty solid. Obviously, Kelsey. People are going to look at this team and say Kelsey. See, I don't like Kelsey this year, but you're still going to say he's going to, even if he's tight end 4 or 5, he's going to have an advantage in most weeks by having Kelsey. I don't like how early he grabbed him, but that's a strength. Weakness of this team is the flipping bench. I mean, these projections, I don't know. I don't know. I'd be skeptical that Lockett and Jacoby Myers get to double digits. Like, there's no one from this bench you're excited about starting. Zeke is projected 11 points. Zeke's going to score over 11 points like 3 times this year. I don't see it. Um, People were joking this is like the all 2020 team because he's got James Conner and Debo and Kelsey and Godwin. I mean, yeah, some of these guys are old. They might be due to, they might be due to not produce. Um, So what's the best case for this team? Best case, everybody stays healthy. He gets the stack with Burrow and Jamar, and they just go crazy. And the Chiefs are amazing. That's kind of, I mean, he's double stacked up here, Chiefs and Bengals. So he's betting on two of the teams that everybody thinks will be the best 2 teams in the AFC. He's betting on their best players to score a lot this year, to do very well. He's betting on James Conner to stay healthy all year. He's betting on Mostert to not really cede any work to Achan. Um, these are very calculated bets. He's betting on Debo to do really well. I think Debo's kind of the core, like solid of this team. Like you know what you're going to get with him. Everybody else could be a little bit variable, but yeah, they all stay healthy and the stack smashes. Like that's what he's hoping for. Worst case, worst case for this team is definitely injuries. Definitely injuries, and like you can say that for any team. Like yeah, injuries are going to tank their season, but think about it. Look how Chiefs and Bengals dependent he is. If Burrow misses a little time, not only is he missing Burrow, but then Chase is going to be worse those weeks. If Mahomes were to miss some time, somehow Pacheco and Kelsey are dead. Um, if Kelsey gets a little bit injured, when you waste a third round pick on your tight end, you have to start someone who's really bad, and Kelsey's getting old. Mostert had his first like fully healthy season in forever. The last 2 years, I mean, he was perennially a guy who missed like half the season. And I mean, look at that. He was the RB2 last year, but before that, his best finish was 20. Now he's 32 years old. I don't know. What do we think's happening with him? Godwin's bounding off injured. Zeke, he's getting old. So there's a lot of like correlation going on here for Ty. If everything works out, Burrow throws 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns to Jamar. Kelsey doesn't fall off. Maybe Pacheco turns into Jamal Charles. James Conner and Raheem Mostert, like they pretend like they're not old for the whole rest of the year. On paper, this team looks good. I'm just not in love with it. Um, I'm gonna give this one a C plus, and I'm gonna say we're in tier three. This is an average team, not a bunch of room to ascend to the top of the league unless everything lines up. He can't really afford um, either of his Chiefs or Bengals, routes to not work out. Both those teams have to be really good and be the best options of the AFC, and then he'll do well. The reason for the C plus draft grade, I think he could have went somewhere better than Kelsey at the 3.2 and better than Connor at the 4 and somewhere better than Burrow at the 5 and somewhere better than Mostert at the 6. Like he starts off really good. I said Jamar's a bad pick, but whatever. You can build a good team around Jamar and Debo. I don't like what he did from rounds 3 to 6. He saves it a little with Godwin. Pacheco was always going to make this team have a high floor, just having him in the eighth round. But like those middle picks, man, like if you could build a team around Jamar, Debo, Pacheco, and Godwin, if he just would have rearranged some of those middle ones, would have got a way higher draft grade. I just don't like what he went some of there. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. Someone clip this when James Conner scores 3 touchdowns week 1 and Raheem Mostert at the end of the year gives up 0 goal line work to Achane, but in Burrow stays healthy all year. I just, call me crazy if I don't see all those things happening and working out for the squad. So C plus. Not Ty's worst team that he's drafted for sure. He's been in the D and F range before. Um, but yeah, I think this team's going to be average. It's either going to just sneak in or just miss the playoffs. That's my prediction for most likely outcome.